Right now, flames erupt at a local multi-unit building. We'll have a live report as Madison fireworks on scene. Also, a neighborhood divided. The friendly political rivalry taking place on two front lawns. And transporting visitors to the great outdoors, the new attraction awaiting the public at the Wilderness Resort. We welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. And we start tonight with breaking news on the west side of Madison. The fire department with multiple other agencies on the scene of a 2-alarm fire on Stargrass Drive. Let's go to Ellie La Liberté, who is on the scene now live with more details. Ellie?
Yeah, Eric, we actually learned some new information just about 30 minutes ago that this building that caught on fire was actually not occupied. So no residents have been displaced, and as of right now, no injuries have been reported according to MFD. Now, when crews responded to the scene at about 4 p.m. today, they started fighting this fire at the top of the building, where a majority of that damage is some of the siding has been singed. We actually saw them, still working here to try to discover if there were any hot spots. And we actually spoke to a neighbor who said he saw some of the smoke rising from the building from across the apartment complex. Take a listen.
Just noticed like the clouds is kind of like not normal. It's kind of like hazy. So I just rushed in like where it came from, and then I saw there's already a firefighters in here like sitting it out, but it's just like a lot of smoke.
When we arrived on this scene at about an hour and a half ago, there were 6 fire trucks, police, and ambulances here, but that has since begun to wrap up. But this is an ongoing investigation. For now, reporting live on Madison's west side, Ellie La Liberté, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. An Oregon man is arrested after police say he killed a Madison man in northern Wisconsin. It was May 10th, actually in Juneau County. The sheriff's office was called to 11th Avenue in Necedah for reports of a man not breathing. There, deputies found Daniel Asmussen dead. And now, due to the circumstances surrounding his death, an investigation was open, and as a result, Jeffrey Crompton has been arrested in connection with Asmussen's death. Crompton now charged with first-degree intentional homicide with a $1 million cash bond. He's set to appear in court next month. Right now, a national IV supply shortage after Hurricane Helene hit North Carolina. That's where one of the largest saline distributors is located. Our Tanisha Shaw spoke to a patient seeing the impact right here in Madison.
Hurricane Helene made landfall in late September. Now, residents all over the U.S. are dealing with the aftermath, specifically at hospitals.
I had noticed that they had not set up an IV, as they usually do, for procedures. And they said there was a nationwide shortage, and they're being very conservative in how they administer the saline solution.
John Karcher is a former anchor here at News 3 Now, and he recently underwent a day surgery.
I was not concerned at all. I mean, they're skilled orthopedic surgeons. They know what's going on. They know what their alternatives are. I was not worried at all.
Baxter is one of the biggest providers for IV supplies, and now they're closed after Helene hit North Carolina. Now, local hospitals are now monitoring how much saline they use.
The impact from Helene really took place down in Asheville, North Carolina, where our largest supplier of IV solutions sustained catastrophic damage to their largest plant.
UW Health also responded through a statement and said they're also monitoring supplies, and none of their scheduled procedures are impacted. SSM Health also mentioned that because of the pandemic, they're equipped to handle situations like this.
We've been down this road before. Thankfully, we've done that work to collaboratively work with our clinicians and our suppliers to make sure that we have a smooth operation and making sure we have what we need for our patients in our community.
Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. Glad to see Karch is doing well. Meanwhile, Florida residents are starting to repair the damage from Hurricane Milton after the storm smashed through coastal communities this week. At least 16 deaths have now been linked to the storm. The White House says 1,000 federal personnel remain on the ground now. Search and rescue teams have conducted more than 4,200 rescues and assists, and more than 1 million meals have been delivered to people in need, with another 1.6 million set to be delivered.
50,000 power line workers from 43 states and the country and Canada have stepped up and come down to help and to restore. They've already restored power to 1 million people so far.
Early estimates say about $50 billion in damages have been caused by Hurricane Milton alone. Today may have felt a little like summer. Tomorrow we're going to get a taste of fall. Let's check your first one forecast with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington on the patio. Alex?
Eric, if you have an opportunity to go outside southern Wisconsin yet tonight to enjoy what's the remnants here of fall or summer-like weather, rather, it is going to be replaced by fall-like weather very quickly this weekend. Let's take a little bit of a history lesson here with our temperatures. Again, 6 o'clock last night, we were up near 70 degrees. We only got down into the 50s last night. Normal high temperatures this time of year are in the low 60s. Normal low temperatures are in the low 40s. So our lows last night were very warm. We got all the way up to 81 degrees, and now the temperatures are starting to go down just a little bit. But it is beautiful out here on the patio. We got 75 in Madison, 77 still in Lone Rock, 76 to the north in Wisconsin Dells. We still have 77 in Middleton, 78 in Cross Plains, and a 76 to the east towards Deerfield. So this might be a nice night if there are still any restaurants that do any outdoor seating. This is a wonderful evening for that. No winds to speak of. Humidity levels are low, so there's no mugginess to the air at all, even though it did feel a bit summer-like. Planning our temperatures this evening, our temperatures cooling down to right around 70 degrees at 8 o'clock. When you join our 10 o'clock newscast, Buddy will be here. Temperatures will still be in the middle 60s, but changes are on the way, just like Eric said. Clouds build in on Saturday out ahead of a weak cold front. A much stronger cold front brings a few showers on Sunday, and still expecting frost next week. Coming up in Maine weather, we're going to track when we can expect the possibility of some showers with these cold fronts coming through this week, and which nights are the best nights, I should say, which nights will be the most likely nights for a hard freeze. That's coming up.
Alex, thank you. While some consider politics a taboo subject, others around Dane County are making their voices heard, or should we say seen. Earlier today, our Maddie Heimsch took to a few neighborhoods that stand divided.
If you didn't believe Wisconsin was a battleground state, the battleground taking form in these front yards might change your mind. If you drive down Main Street in Oregon, you won't miss Kevin Shane's front yard. His political beliefs planted proudly for all to see.
It's a good thing to stand up no matter what you are. I mean, I think people should stand up and say who they are.
His neighbor does the same, but says something different.
We don't talk about it, we just put our signs out.
And on Queensway Road in Monona, Megan Morley displays an extravagant collection.
Just want to support the Harris Walls team in the middle class and women, people of color, you know, people with disabilities.
And not just for herself.
Tried to think about how many I could distribute here, and started in my head, I was like, well, 50 or 100 or 150, and then I was like, it's a stretch, but let's do 200.
Driving through the sea of red and blue might stir up feelings of contention, but an anonymous sign distributor we ran into said that doesn't have to be the case.
When I see signs, it reminds me that people are engaged, they are paying attention. And I think the most dangerous thing to be is apathetic.
These community members are on a mission come November.
I read an article that having signs up politically can make a 1% to 2% difference in the outcome of an election.
But they say there's a bigger job to get done.
This one man is going to go away in 4 years. Whether he wins or loses, he's going to go away. But I'm going to still be here. And my neighbors, we need to all realize what the heck we're here for. We're here to be good friends.
Whether it's across party lines or property lines, for Kevin and his neighbor, it's all in good fun. What do you think of your neighbor here?
She's a wonderful woman. I love her. And anytime I get some extra tomatoes from the garden, I take her some. And then there's those.
Reporting in Battleground, Wisconsin, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
36 local businesses are getting the opportunity to receive free training from the city of Madison. It's part of Madison's new Biz Ready program. The initiative is modeled after the Market Ready program from 2017. It aims to give small businesses the tools, the guidance, and opportunities to grow and thrive. $300,000 in ARPA funds will be distributed to 36 local businesses.
This is a really cool program because, you know, it's entirely free. There are some business workshops that might be available, but this is really something the city wanted to do to really help support small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs in Madison because, small businesses are really the backbone of the community. And, when small businesses succeed, Madison succeeds.
Orientation for the Biz Ready program participants will take place later this month on October 23rd. A new attraction open to the public in the Wisconsin Dells today. The Wilderness Resort held a grand opening for its new Enchanted Night Walk through a Canyon of Wonders attraction. That experience will take visitors through a sandstone canyon where they'll follow a mystical deer as it searches for a spring filled with magic water. The walk is a nighttime only attraction. Tickets can be bought online or at a kiosk for $24.99 plus tax. Next on News 3 Now at 6, a new study shines a light on the impact of catching COVID-19 without a vaccine. Plus, getting through a backlog in claims, how the IRS is accelerating services after the COVID pandemic.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices.
We're often asked,
is it really free to hire Gruber Law Offices?
The answer is yes. The call, the consultation, free. You pay nothing until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is this weekend only. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, cold tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only in the Exhibition Hall at the Allied Energy Center in Madison.
Steinhoffels is inviting you to help us celebrate our 90th anniversary. And thank you for making us part of your family. During Steinhoffels Friends and Family Sale, take $100 off $14.99, $200 off $29.99, and $300 off $44.99. Or take advantage of Steinhoffels 36-month 0% financing and get a $200 MasterCard rewards card. Steinhoffels Friends and Family Sale. Shop in store or online.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
You heard him.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
What would Eric Hovde do in the Senate? Mitch McConnell and extremists would gain a majority. The power to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape or incest. Criminal penalties for doctors. More extreme anti-abortion judges on the courts.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is this weekend only. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, cold tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only in the Exhibition Hall at the Allied Energy Center in Madison.
News 3 Now is focusing on the issues and the races that matter where you live, with 3 for the people.
Talking with local candidates, looking at both sides of the issues, and fact-checking it all, so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 6, moving forward.
Welcome back. A new study suggests that COVID can have a significant impact on heart and brain health years after infection. In 2020, before vaccines were available, people who caught COVID-19 had twice the risk of a major cardiovascular problem. The study's author says those risks and medical records stayed up to 3 years after the infection, and those who had to be hospitalized with severe illness from the virus were at an even greater risk for heart problems.
That is, if similar to the risk of someone who had one heart attack and what their risk for having a second heart attack was. If you have had COVID, I suggest think about heart disease and getting your cholesterol checked and your blood pressure checked.
The researchers only studied older adults, but they say there's reason to believe they'd see the same results in younger people who have a history of COVID-19. The Internal Revenue Service says it's making progress on backlogged pandemic-era tax credit claims from businesses, and hundreds of thousands of business owners should start getting the aid soon. Processing is underway on about 400,000 of the employee retention credit claims worth about $10 billion. The IRS has not given a concrete timeline, but said it is accelerating work on those claims. Well, Earth has a new body in its orbit, and we had quite the show in the night sky last night. Why are the northern lights reaching this far south? Plus, a cool down on the way. Alex with our lows for the weekend when we could see some frost. Stay with us.
My name is Bill. I am retired. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I live here in Wisconsin. I am not a political person, but Eric Hovde doesn't understand how important Social Security and Medicare are around here. I'm on Social Security, and Hovde said he absolutely supported cuts to Social Security and Medicare. Imagine working longer, paying into the system, and then poof, you're paying your bills with less. He knows it. Cutting Social Security and Medicare will cost us. He just doesn't care.
WIN Senate is responsible for the content of this message.
Peter Barca dishonored our service and America's commitment to veterans.
And Congress, Barca voted to cut our benefits, impacting our lives, our families. It's just wrong.
It's just wrong.
Veterans can't trust career politicians like Peter Barca, and neither can you.
Brian Stile will always work to protect veterans like me.
Brian is not a career politician, he's a fighter, and he's always working for us.
I'm Brian Stile, and I approve this message.
These Baldwin ads are nasty.
I can't stand them.
She never tells the truth. Now she says Eric Hovde wants to raise the retirement age.
That's malarkey.
I saw in the news Social Security will be going bankrupt in 8 years.
Are you kidding? We need Social Security.
You're surprised? Washington spends money like crazy.
And Baldwin supports all of it.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
You better get a job.
You get a job.
Joan Baldwin wants to ban abortion, even in cases of rape, incest, and when the mother's life is at risk.
And would jail doctors who perform them.
Baldwin voted to ban birth control, too, and to deny rape victims emergency contraception.
Banning all abortions and birth control? No one wants to tell you what to do with your body
more than Joan Baldwin.
But she can't tell you what to do with your vote.
This is a hallway. Doesn't evoke much feeling. But to those facing cancer or a complex condition, it feels like relief. Because all the doctors, treatments, and technology you've been fighting to find, they're all right here, under one roof, connected by hallways instead of highways. East Park Medical Center, coming soon. UW Health, remarkable.
It felt like summertime out there today, but things ready to change for the weekend. Here's Alex.
That's right. Summer right to fall. Here we go. Get a glimpse of it. Even though our temperatures on Saturday are going to be up to 65 degrees, a touch above normal, it will feel considerably cooler than that 81 that we had today. Can you believe that? An isolated shower is a possibility on Saturday. Then we move over to Sunday. Temperatures around 60 degrees, but those temperatures will go down a bit as a strong cold front comes through with a few showers and some gusty winds, which I'm going to show you a glimpse of how strong those winds could get Sunday afternoon. But the good stuff yet this evening, a summer-like evening as temperatures fall through the 70s into the 60s. Buddy will be here for the 10 o'clock newscast and still at 65 degrees. That's still a little bit warmer than our normal high temperature for this time of year. It's all part of the three things you got to get out of the forecast. Clouds will build in on Saturday ahead of a weak cold front. Stronger cold front on Sunday brings those showers, windy conditions, and then that frost potential that we've been talking about for days. I'm going to show you when the best chances for that frost is going to be. Here we go with clouds filling in on Saturday as we track through future track a couple of showers, especially north of Madison. This is a weak cold front that will be moving into the area and a weak disturbance. It's Sunday as clouds continue. We see a few showers late morning, early afternoon hours, especially north of Madison, and then those winds really come in behind that cold front, ushering in cooler temperatures, gusting at times perhaps 30 to 35 miles per hour by the time we get to Sunday afternoon. So feeling very different this weekend, progressively throughout the weekend. Saturday, we ease our way into fall-like feeling temperatures, and then by Sunday it feels like fall again. I do want to remind folks, low humidity values, we have increasing dry fuels, increasing dry vegetation, windy conditions for Sunday, slim rain chances. The risk for fire right now is quite elevated. Here's that cold front coming through on Sunday. The coolest temperatures are going to be Monday and Tuesday. Eric was wanting to know about those low temperatures. Low temperatures Sunday night, upper 30s, then upper 20s to the lower 30s for both Monday night and Tuesday night. And then we start to work our way back up to the 70s again, roller coaster by the end of next week with warming temperatures. Best chance for frost is going to be Monday night and then again Tuesday night. But I do want to emphasize a little patchy frost Sunday night, a little patchy frost again on Wednesday night. We can't rule that out. as well. Now I'm going to step out of the way because I'm not as good looking as these pictures here. Look at these stunning pictures. Thanks, Kurt, sending us from Madison. Kurt just scanned that QR code, and then that uploads those photos directly to channel3000.com/weather, where you're able to see these very, very pretty photos that we have across southern Wisconsin. I got a couple more that I want to share here. Look at this. Thanks, Lad from Cross Plains, sending us your photo. I think we have two more that I loaded up here. Mike from Mirror Lake Road, that's north of Madison. Again, just scan that QR code, and this is a nice one from Hannah from the Newark Township. The QR code links you right up to our photo gallery so we can show these photos on air.
Alex, thank you. And those were just a few of dozens of photos of the Northern Lights last night that we got from our viewers above your homes and neighborhoods. The visibility even surprised local experts who tell our Armand Rahman to keep looking up to the skies for the next few months.
Normally, to see anything cool in the cosmos in Madison, you have to either head out to the countryside or up to UW-Madison's Washburn Observatory. But on Thursday night, the Northern Lights were visible from many places in the metro area.
I heard everyone talking about it. I'm like, the Northern Lights here? I'm like, you for real?
But when seeing it in front of his eyes, Jack Waltz and Lily Caesar still found it surreal.
We headed on down to the docks over there where the canoe rentals are, and we stood out across the lake. It was a first-time thing, so it was a cool moment to see them here, especially not over in like Iceland or Norway or something like that too.
I've never thought I'd see them like at all in my whole life.
And us regular Earth folk weren't the only ones starstruck. Jim Lattis is the director of the UW Space Place, and it was a first even for a starman like him.
That was the best one I've seen in about 20 years.
But how is it no one saw something as stellar as this coming?
It's often called space weather, which is a good analogy because we're always talking in terms of probabilities.
Space weather is actually caused by coronal mass ejections, particles sunspots send into space that interact with the Earth's atmosphere. And the stars have to really align for the conditions to be right.
First of all, we have to have those coronal mass ejections. They have to reach Earth at the right time, and we have to be on the right side of Earth for us to see it. We have to be on the right side of basically on the night side of the Earth.
But they may be right for the remainder of the year because solar activity is high. But Lattis says that also means it's hard to pinpoint specific viewing locations so far in advance.
That's what I would look for: dark sight, clear horizon.
So it'll take some patience, but it's worth it to see the stage set for the colors to dance.
They're really beautiful. They behave in a way that really nothing else in nature does.
Now, if you missed the show Thursday or aren't able to catch the Northern Lights over the weekend, you can always head to UW-Madison's Atmospheric and Oceanic Sciences Department website, where you can view footage like this from any of their 5 cameras for free. Reporting in Madison, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. And Earth has a new visitor, a celestial guest called a mini-moon that'll orbit the planet for about 2 months. The asteroid that has been given the name 2024 PT5 is estimated to be about the size of a school bus or a small house. Because of its size, it cannot be seen with the naked eye. Scientists say these temporary moons are fairly uncommon, but there could be more that we just can't detect.
And coming up in sports, Romeo Dobbs back at practice and talked for the first time since he was suspended. What the Packer wideout had to say is next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Billionaire banker Eric Hovde has a plan for Social Security.
Do you favor either raising the retirement age or cutting benefits?
I favor both.
Raising the retirement age?
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Hovde wants to raise the retirement age as high as 72. And Hovde just proposed cutting Social Security by 28%, costing the average beneficiary more than $6,000 a year. Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I'm working harder than ever just to pay the bills and provide for my family. But here's what Kamala Harris thought my money should go to instead. Job training for illegal immigrants even after they commit crimes in America. Hotel rooms for illegal immigrants while our vets sleep on the street. Sex changes for illegal immigrants out of my pocket. Seriously, have these people lost their mind? Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
100 Republicans who worked in national security for Presidents Reagan, both Bushes, and for President Trump, now endorsing Harris for president.
She came up as a prosecutor, an attorney general, into the Senate. She has the kind of character that's going to be necessary in the presidency.
Vice President Harris is standing in the breach at a critical moment in our nation's history. We have a shared commitment as Americans to do what's right for this country. This year, I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris.
Former generals, secretaries of defense, secretaries of the Army, Navy, and Air Force, CIA directors, and National Security Council leaders under Democratic and Republican presidents, Republican members of Congress, and even former Trump administration officials agree there's only one candidate fit to lead our nation, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
For 7 generations, our sausage recipe has remained the same. We haven't wavered. We have not compromised. You can see it in our labels, smell it as you cook it, and taste it in every bite. It's our family tradition to never settle for less, and neither should you. Breakfast better with Jones.
It's been quite a couple of days for Romeo Doubs. He skipped a couple of practices last week, which got him suspended for the Rams game, but his absence from the team wasn't because of him wanting a bigger role with the offense. Doubs said that he had some things going on mentally and added he wishes he would have handled the situation better, starting with better communication, but he is thankful that the Packers had his back.
As far as just the organization and, just the staff, players, there's nothing going on within that area, so I just want to make myself clear there. But again, if we're just talking about the moment, I'm just, thankful that I'm still here.
This weekend will be one that Bo Ryan will remember forever. The former Wisconsin head men's basketball coach will be enshrined in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame on Sunday. But the celebration starts Saturday when he receives his Hall of Fame ring and jacket. Now, this summer, we caught up with the winningest coach in Badger basketball history to get his take on his call to the Hall.
When he made the statement, well, welcome to the class of 2024, Coach. You've been elected. All the people that flashed in front of my mind, it was such a blur, and emotionally things popped into my head that just you can't explain.
And it's week 8 of the high school football season. Andrew and I will bring you highlights from a handful of games across the area in this week's final drive coming up tonight at 10 in just a few minutes. The Huddle with Towie Walker.
All right, and final check of the forecast.
Final check calls for fall-like weather to make a return to southern Wisconsin for a few days at least, lasting into early next week. Best frost chances again Monday night and Tuesday night of next week. Then we kind of crawl our way out of those cool conditions, back up into the 70s by the time we get later next week, and then another cold front next weekend. So up and down, but fall-like for a couple of days early next week.
All right, Alex, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6. Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here tonight for News 3 Now at 10.